The views and opinions expressed in the Golden Boot podcast are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Golden Boot podcast as a whole.
Y'all ready to get rolling? Quiet on the set. Hey, welcome back to another episode of HBCU Hour. It's your boy Pooh Bell. My man, Aunt Petty Murphy will be back with us shortly. He take care of some things, being a good daddy. Funny story, but we'll get there. But we got special guests in the building with us tonight, man. We're gonna talk some more team by team breakdowns. We got Mr. Cobi. He's the we'll get into his introduction. And we brought back our good friend Banks. We're gonna talk, man. We're gonna talk some ball, man. I know that's what y'all want to do. But first, we want to want to give a special shout out to our sponsors over at BetOnline. BetOnline.ag. We'll be back in 1 minute. BetOnline.ag is your number one source for all your sports information, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds, lines, and player injury reports for this year's NBA and NHL playoffs. BetOnline is always your sports information headquarters. This season, we have you covered for all your sports wagering needs. We have everything from NBA, NFL, MLB, and NHL to golf, tennis, UFC, and boxing. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games that you can play right from your home. Head on over to betonline.ag today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Be sure to use the promo code BLEAV to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Now, y'all know we couldn't talk Morgan State without bringing back the representative himself, Banks.
What's good, fam?
Welcome back, man.
Glad to have you on. Man?
Oh, but you know what? We couldn't let you come by yourself.
Of course.
Couldn't let you come by yourself. We was gonna, you know what I'm saying? I said, hey, we need to get somebody, you know what I'm saying, so we can talk South Carolina State. I said, dang, man, I wish I could find somebody talk Delaware State too with us too. And you know what I'm saying? Somebody popped up and said, you know what, I could do both. I got you covered.
God.
Got you covered. None other. Our good friend Cobi. Or welcome to HBCU Hour. We appreciate having both of y'all on, man. Thank y'all for joining us.
Thank you, man.
Hey, thank you, bro. Thank you for having me.
Hey, no problem. First off, I gotta say this. Banks, you getting soft on us, man. I saw you getting compliments to Howard.
Yeah, I gave the best compliment I could, which was they at least, found a competent hire at the athletics director position. That's the best I was going to go with. That's the best I can give.
I was like, man, what is going on? I had to check the weather outside.
Listen, they better take it. They better take it.
Well, man, Banks, hey, I appreciate you being here as always. You know, it's always love. Cobi, man, listen, when I talked to you and you told me, you said I can come through, you know, so I got you. I was like, man, that's so clutch. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate it. I want to ask you one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can we call you the meme king? Because they keep finding pictures of you and making you memes.
Dog, man, the way that all started was crazy, man. It was just a regular live with Ken and Zoe, and They
Right.
telling me, you know, they older than me, so like they telling me about things from like these 70s movies. I don't know what they talking about, and I'm really just interested in it. I'm just like, oh, okay. And then somebody just took my picture. I know who did it. They making me feel like it's all in good fun, man. So like I enjoy it, honestly. You know,
Yeah.
publicity for the channel. So now, like, you know, yeah, y'all can call me the meme king if that's what it is. You know, I enjoy it.
Oh man, but nah, we appreciate you coming through, man. Appreciate the work you do. Hey, Banks, you'll actually be proud, man. I went to New Orleans. I was visiting with a school, with my son, and I was talking to a gentleman, and we were talking, and he was like, he said, yeah, you know, I went to a HBCU. I went to Morgan State. I said, oh, Morgan State in Baltimore. He was like, how you know about Morgan State? Like, trust me, I know about Morgan State.
Hey, all the way in New Orleans. You heard
Yes,
me?
sir. Yes, sir. So I had to tell you that story offline, man. But it was a good, good conversation, man. But man, I do want to start with you though. Let's talk about Morgan State. Last year, man, we know defense led the way. Defense was I want to say top notch, but I don't want to exaggerate too much. But that defense was really good. Every time I would turn around, it'll be take over here, take over there, turnover, scoring off turnovers. But the offense left a little bit more to be desired. How has the offense improved coming into this year?
Well, I think for one, people got to remember that the regime that came in currently started in June 1 of 2022. And then really didn't get a chance to meet the players until training camp started on July 29th. So in regards to offensive flow, terminology, continuity, et cetera, it was going to be a bit of a curve. And luckily, we had a huge playmaker in Alfonso Graham, who, was a me-exceeding rusher, speed out this world, to make cuts on a dime, et cetera, whatever have you. And we was pretty much able to then fill in the rest with, like, a pass here, pass there, but give it to Graham everywhere, and that's good in year one. But now, I think with a true all season under the belt, guys that they brought in alongside with the veterans such as Deuce, we're still iffy on Carson in the sense of knowing his eligibility. And so I'm going to have to wait till training camp starts to actually say if that's true or not. However, Deuce being there, you got a true incoming freshman who actually started his collegiate career early, or his collegiate matriculation early, and Todd Smith, who's from nearby Rock Creek Academy in Maryland, by the way of Fredericksburg, Virginia. He was a 3-star quarterback who was a second team WCAC all-team player, which, if anybody in DMV is familiar, that's the best league in the Northern Virginia, Maryland, DC area. So, there's going to be somebody at the helm. I think, with the amount of guys who are there, is going to breed competition, and whoever wins out in training camp, I think is going to seriously be a strong catalyst for our offense. We got guys on the outside that a lot of people don't know, and I really don't want to say their names yet, only because they're ready. They are ready. But the reason why we couldn't get them, especially towards midway through half a season when Carson got injured, we couldn't get those guys the ball. And like I said, we also turned up during the recruiting season to get more playmakers. So it's going to be a nice display this year from the offensive side. I think it's going to seriously complement the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah. Hey, I do want to say shout out to the chat, man. Cobi brought his people with him. Russell Hayes chopped in and said, about time you come on live. Your vacation over after a week after.
And he got the fireplace. And he got the fireplace back too.
Yeah.
Good too.
Blue Jay 3000 say New Hill, thanks Cobi for the heads up. Go SC SU Bulldogs.
Yes, sir.
Our good man Zach. Hey, I want y'all to know.
Blue.
Zach, the only reason the Supreme Court might got rid of affirmative action, but we still got Zach. Zach gonna be on the show, and he gonna represent for us, man. Zach always hold it down for us, man. Shout out to the Blue Blood. I will say, we talk about HBCU. If you want to know anything FCS, it don't matter what.
I'm telling
that
you,
man know it.
Encyclopedia.
So y'all go check out his stuff, man. Check out his page. Cobi, man. Let me say, I think I might be related to Coach Buddy Pugh. I don't know. Maybe I, you know what I'm saying? They got, dropped off the boat a little bit before us, but I don't know. But I always tell everybody that's my cousin, man. But last year was kind of a down year for them, coming off of Celebration Bowl win. Is there anything behind it? I mean, I'm not saying like scandal and like that, but you know what I'm saying? Was it like the offense just wasn't living up to their part? Defense wasn't living up, lack of focus? What are we looking at?
Well, it was a multitude of things, right? So I think the biggest thing was just Corey Fields, man. Like, without him, the offense just couldn't go. That he was the biggest thing, but there were many things. I can't just put it all on Corey. We couldn't run the ball, which is it's always been our identity. Kendall Flowers couldn't stay healthy. And he was always with the a concussion, and I'm not, putting that against him. That's unfortunate, but he always had an injury. We had a bunch of young guys. We couldn't run the ball the same way. We were still trying to find a replacement for Jacoby Durant, Zafir Kelly. We had so much pieces that we needed to replace. It's no excuse for how we ended the season, but a lot of things came into place, man. Just trying to insert a lot of these young guys into position to play. And, when I talk to the players, of course I can't say who, but like there was a little riff, right? Because the older guys were kind of like, man, these young guys trying to do their own thing, trying to get on one accord. It's always that little struggle, especially when you're coming off of a championship win. So like it was so many things going on with the program that you unfortunately saw it coming. And we still had, chances even with all those things to pull out a few games. Like we almost could have put out the FAMU game, didn't happen. Can't even talk about Morgan. I didn't expect that game to go like that. But like we had our opportunities and it was just a down year. But I would say if I have to put the most of the blame, Corey just did not play good. He knows that. We had a conversation. Hopefully, from what I've seen in the spring, he's gotten a lot better. I'm a lot more confident about this team going into this season now that they are a little bit more structured and they're a little bit more focused on the goal, and those younger guys are kind of all on the same page with the older guys now. I'm a lot more confident. But those were the contributing factors, man. We couldn't run the ball. Kendall Flowers couldn't stay healthy. Corey did not look like himself at all. And just replacing those big-time players on the defensive side of the ball, man, it killed us.
Yeah. Now, with all that said, South Carolina State still found a way.
Mm-hmm.
Still found a way to put, to beat Central.
Right.
I don't know if it's because of rivalry game, it was just like, hey, we got to do this one or what, but they still found a way.
You know what? We heard the talk, because like before the Central game, we still, oddly enough, had a chance. We still had a chance to get to Atlanta. So if we knew, like, if we could, because if Central hadn't beaten us for like the past 2-3 years, and they still haven't done it. So we knew, like, okay, if we were always squeaking past Central, if we sneak out this game, maybe, just maybe, we can get to Atlanta. We lost focus after that again. All right, but that Central win, man, we heard the talk. We knew there was still a chance. So, that motivation is going to trump a lot of things sometimes, man, when you just got that fight in you and you know it's still a chance and your season isn't over. So I think that's what happens. It's always a great game when we play Central, man. Like I said, we barely squeak past them every time. So I just love to see that matchup.
Yeah. Let's switch gears a little bit. Delaware State. It's a regime change up there going on. What's the feel? You know what I'm saying? Is it kind of a little bit more, you know, say, hey, this is a rebuilding year, or is this more of a, you know what I'm saying, hey, we gonna go out there and we gonna compete. It doesn't matter.
So Coach Hall is doing things his way. I know that for a fact. He's coming in and he's doing things his way. It's definitely, they understand that they've lost pieces, right? But I don't think you will ever hear Coach Hall say, nah, this is going to be a rebuilding year, because they still got pieces right now to be competitive in the MEAC. You know, like that run game, right? The running back room, still loaded. It's going to be led by Marquise Gillies, which was the MEAC Rookie of the Year. You know, maybe y'all don't. I don't know if y'all know about him or not. Y'all know, yeah, maybe y'all know how dangerous that boy can be.
Watch the highlights.
Got him. The defensive side of the ball, they still got two great cornerbacks, and Ramel Harris-Freeman going into his final year of eligibility, a 6'4" DB. I mean, you just don't find too many of them. My goodness, man. Kid is really athletic with long range. And, of course, you got the transfer DB from Eastern Carolina University, Nasir Clark, over 6 feet as well, long wingspan as well. He was skinny when he came in, but he put a lot more weight on kid. The kid is a real true man-to-man corner, so they still have pieces. The only thing I worry about is that quarterback position. And I think, you know, maybe, but even then, their identity is to run the football. So no, I don't. With Coach Hall, you're never gonna. I don't think you're gonna hell. Nah, this is gonna be a rebuilding year. They're ready to compete right away. They still have the pieces.
From a guy who played underneath them back in the day, year one, it's not like the hell with rebuilding. That's his motto. Like, we're here to win. I'm here to win. Yeah. So. You know, it was also a scary thing is now he's run the gamut in the MEAC North, and whether it was, you know, being our former head coach, being Howard's offensive coordinator, now being Delaware State's head coach, he knows bits and pieces of everybody and has that familiarity with everybody that kind of just makes him a grenade to be thrown in the middle of the room, you know.
Yeah. Hey, our man Zach said that Central loss was self-inflicted. shout out Coach Simmons. Hey, what's good, our man Kelly?
Kelly, was good, bro.
Yeah. B-Bod Cole was talking kind of the South Carolina State stuff, said it was a lot of player distractions within the program. Said it was said that. So
yeah, like that's you know, just going back to earlier, man, the younger guys, a lot of them want to do their own thing. You know, like nobody was, the whole team wasn't on the same page is what I'm trying to say. So, you know, it was just distractions, and on top of the injuries and everything like that, it was just a crazy year, man. Didn't expect that to go like that at all.
Yeah. M. Rob says that he said, I would say the coaching in the MEAC is pretty good from top to bottom. Each coach in the conference has won at least one D1 conference chip, except for Morgan, and he has deep D2 runs. So yeah. It's something else that's common in the MEAC. And I talked about it a little bit last week with Erica. The trenches, the size in the trenches.
You mean the staple of South Carolina State you talking about?
No, I'm talking about
the historic staple.
I'm talking like serious, like all the programs that, you know, Morgan State, Howard, you know, South Carolina State, those guys, like the defense offensive lines are typically larger, relatively speaking, for HBCUs and stuff. That should actually bode well in how you guys play against your non-conference schedules. So let me get to this. South Carolina State. We talked about what happened last year. We talked about how they've come up short. We know they've got it in them to make a run. What are expectations for the season?
Expectations with the pieces that we've gotten and the young guys who we couldn't wait to see on the field in that initial class after winning the Celebration Bowl, it's the get back. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's the get back. This defense is looking like how they were the year they won the Celebration Bowl. They're a lot more physical than they were last year. We found the guys. We went out and we've got the replacements for the Cobi. Of course, we still lost some pieces that's going to be hard to replace. You can't replace your Shaq Davis, but we still got a lot of talent at the receiver position. The expectation is for this young talent to step up. Now that it's their opportunity to be on the field. It's time for this young talent to step up and show what they can do. We don't really have the luxury of waiting around anymore. We have the pieces. They're just young, so it's like it's not going to be an excuse anymore. We're going to step up. We're going to be competitive with the rest of the MEAC, and we're going to get back to Atlanta. Hopefully, that's the goal, and especially for Corey. When it comes to Corey Fields, the expectation around the whole team, especially when I went there during the spring, everybody is sold on Corey now. Like everybody is saying, "Oh, Corey's a lot better." Like we have a redshirt freshman quarterback who's probably the most gifted quarterback just from a natural perspective that we've had in years. And I was asking, why aren't we playing him after the year Corey's had? And they said, Pew think Corey gonna bounce back. That's what they've been showing him. Pew think Corey gonna bounce back. He's been showing it. From what I've seen, he looks a lot smoother. He's been getting the ball out faster. The expectation is for them to get back.
Yeah. Russell says, MEAC teams don't make excuses. So that goes to what you said. Hey, there's no excuses. Man, Banks, I want to ask you, because we talked about the defense. Morgan State arguably has probably the deepest and one of the most talented DB rooms. Let's talk about it. Tell me about it. Hey, and don't be shy. Be like, I can't say no names. I want to hear it. We want to hear it.
No. So, ironically, me being a former offensive player, eons ago, rekindling relationships on the team now is actually with the defensive guys, particularly in the defensive backs room. So, I do talk to Jordan Tolles and Carl Vansky, Decius, and a couple others. And those are real down to earth dudes, let alone like the talent on the field. But to go into the talent, since we're speaking upon it.
Hey, I'm gonna let you think about that. I do want to say, Jordan Tolles is one of the reasons I cheer for Morgan State as hard as I do, right?
I know. Yeah, it's a Bayou thing, baby.
Yeah.
I know. I don't think the DB room, and I talked to some fellow Morgan football alum who played in the '80s, some of the '90s, and we get together during homecoming and stuff. We also have our own alumni group, but we don't think this roster, as it pertains to DBs, probably the deepest it's been since the '70s when we were producing, DB after DB after DB, and honestly, those guys, like I said, Jordan Tolles didn't come until a week before the Georgia Southern game. All right. So you talk about learning entire Anton Sewell's defense as, safety, just a hybrid safety, whether he put you at strong or free, playing a lot of man, having a lot of responsibilities, and his first action that he gets while learning his fellow teammates' names, he gets a pick six, right? So that tells you the type of potential they have. Like, it's him, like I said, Carvin Decius, who was graded as literally the top corner PFF-wise in all of HBCU. I think it's, top 5 or 6 in all of FCS. You got another, and I think Brandon Stukes, who's a young guy. Sorry, my dog is coming in. Eli, he's something else. He's a young guy who had a lot of time as a boundary corner last year as a young pup, and now he's coming into his own. You also have the transfer incomer of Brandon Savage from Norfolk State. Listen, dog. All right, like I feel like, who am I leaving out? I'm leaving out somebody else. Number 4, Coleman. who also had a lot of time last year as the team's free safety. And then on top of that, you got Mr. Nickel, also boundary corner himself, Javion Morton, who, listen, don't throw his way. He's a Detroit boy. Don't throw his way. All right. He's built for and tough. Don't throw his way. And he, you know what I love about him? He's about like 5'9", probably 175 soaking wet. But he talks so much smack on the field, and he never, you would never let him see him sweat. So it's like these guys got the swagger, they got the right mentality, and with that Schul's defense and that dial up, I'm just excited with how those guys are going to fly around. Like I said, for a long time, I don't know, Cobi, when did you play at State?
I didn't play at State. I played at Limestone, then I transferred. But I was defensive end.
Okay. But I like when I played against South Carolina State, for whatever reason, I was cursed of having to play the years against Joe Thomas, and then followed that by Darius Leonard and Hargraves. And you know, I that's probably the greatest defense and collective talent that I remember seeing and being around and playing against. And I feel like this defense that we have for these next couple of years is on that verge to being just as great.
Wow.
Well, yeah.
That's saying a lot, man.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that. We talking a little bit, a lot of defense. M. Rob says that NCCU will be a much better defensively. Their D coordinator was hired around media day. He'll actually have a year with this roster. I expect SCSU defense to be in the mix. Rob, so we actually talked with Joshua Sims Sr., because he got mad. I left the senior off. We talked to Joshua Sims Sr. last week about North Carolina Central. And that was one of the things he talked about was the defense. Said that they basically felt like they weren't a part of the championship game, if that makes sense. Said that, so they got a lot to prove. So go back and check it out, man. It was actually, real informative talking about that. But
it was a high-scoring game. I get it.
It was. I'm gonna come back to defense and talk about South Carolina State, but I want to talk about Delaware State. There was some games where maybe a play or two in the other direction, and they come up with wins. Morgan State was one of those games because I remember listening to that one on the radio, and it was that was real close. That was a close game. I don't know how the way to ask.
Wait, are you talking about Morgan or are you talking about Central? Because Central was the one that was.
No, I'm talking about. Was it Central they were playing? That was it was like the homecoming.
They was going.
Okay,
that was,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I thought
no, and no disrespect to Del State. No disrespect, but yeah, because I'm not trying to catch no smoke. I promise, Del State people. All right, people in Dover. Yeah. I love you. I got love for y'all. All right, I got family in Delaware. Just no smoke. Yeah. All right.
But yeah, I just remember listening to the game and how close it was.
It was unbelievably wild. Like, and of course, like I think that same day, I don't know if Jackson State played Bethune or they played somebody, but of course they get all the attention. So all the attention gets sucked towards the SWAC's way. But like, if you're talking about that weekend, the game of the week in regards to performance was that Delaware State North Carolina Central game for sure. And I was constantly chatting, texting Josh, and it got to the point in the fourth quarter, them Texas went distance on me. Like he stopped talking to me. He didn't want to say nothing. You know what I mean? But man, it went. Shout out to right, but it went. I think all the way. Matter of fact, I don't know if it even went to OT. I can't remember. However, it was such a close game, and the ending result where it was a play that was an overthrown ball to the end zone, or past the end zone, and Central came out with the victory. But through like literally the skin of their chinny chin chin, they had to thank the football gods to win that game.
Right. Anthony Stevens says that D lineman returning for his final season. I spoke with him. He's now 100% healthy. Which D lineman we talking about? I'm not sure. But that is good that whoever he is, he's 100% healthy.
Right.
He coming back. I'm glad to hear that. Let me ask this: Delaware State. It's almost like they're unintentionally always disrespected.
Mm-hmm.
It's like nobody really talks about Delaware State in a light of just like, you know what I'm saying, hey, South Carolina State got, you know what I'm saying, such and such. Morgan State got such and such. We don't hear that about Delaware State. And I feel like they're a sleeping giant. Potential breakout stars.
Marquise Gillis. I'm like, just from that small sample size that I've seen of him as a true freshman, knowing that he's going into this season, going to get in the majority of the carries, this man finna take off, man. This man, and we really need to give credit to Delaware State as a program for always finding these running backs. Like, I don't know how they
workhorse
do
too,
it or where they looking at, but
yeah,
man, we need to give them credit. DBs too, because I mean, Asias Guthrie was an NFL prospect before he went to Jackson State.
Correct.
You know, Ramel Harris Freeman he might not be NFL, but definitely a great XFL prospect or a USFL prospect as well. Nah, man, they are really a great program, and they are very disrespected and overlooked. But for me, I'm going Marquise Gillis all the way, man, all the way. I think he's gonna have a breakout year next season.
All right, Banks. Let me ask you the same question. Who's a hidden gem, breakout figure?
Oh, my apologies for Del State not knowing the kid's name. But they have a middle linebacker.
Oh no, I'm sorry, not for Del State. I meant for Morgan State. My bad.
For Morgan State,
yeah,
breakout star. Honestly, I think it's going to be, because everybody knew about Alfonso Graham. I think it's going to be the reintroduction of the backfield of Jabril Johnson, and I guess we just picked up recently J.J. Davis, as well as we also got a transfer from Fairmont State. Last name McGee, it eludes my name. My apologies, brother. But he's a fast switch kid that, you know, certainly on pass situations, maybe even in some inside run situations, you know, somebody better have account for him because he can run, he can go. So, you know, I think Jabril Johnson, they call him JJ, went to McDonough, local product. Then Norfolk State transfer JJ Davis, I think is going to be something. In regards to on the defensive end, I know, you know, there's been spotlights on our linebacking core, but I don't think it's been as promoted as, you know, Elijah Williams down as a big time D lineman, and on the back end with our DBs. So I got to go with, you know, between Eric Hunter and Lawrence Richardson. I mean, you're not going to find guys who can play sideline to sideline as a tandem like that, and in cohesion. I think they're going to have, I mean, true breakout seasons, and put the whole conference on notice, and even, you know, put it. And I'm not, to the great people in Orangeburg, I mean this with the utmost respect, but I'm telling y'all, I'm not saying we looked at y'all as like the model. No, we're not saying that. But we looked at y'all as somewhat of a template. And these guys that I just mentioned, I feel could be on par with the great productions that y'all had over the last several years. So you know, that's who I'm expecting to make some great leaps and bounds.
Y'all must be named.
Excited to see that defense, man. I'm excited to see Morgan State's
defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all must be naming some good names because the chat blowing up. We got Kelly Flick said Gillis is like that. He's like JJ Davis night pickup. Zach said, you know what I'm saying, Lawrence Richardson is a monster. Flicks also came back and said he sold on CJ Henry at Delaware State too. So
they got a lot of pieces. They got a lot of people. Like that's what I'm saying. You're right when you say people disrespect Delaware State. A lot of maybe it's not disrespect. Maybe people just choose not to do research on them for whatever reason. But they got pieces.
And if somebody could please in the chat, my apologies. Like I said to Del State, another breakout guy that they're getting overlooked. Like I said, they have a middle linebacker that I swear to God, every time he's about to go in a hole, it's like as if he just put like just a bunch of bricks on his shoulders to knock guys out, right? Like you almost made me curse when I was about to try to say, knock MFers out. Like that's how good he is at laying the wood. So like they are.
But
yes, appreciate that. They are a grimy, gritty team that just gets it out the mud. I think a portion of why they don't get that type of fanfare or publicity, one is because they're located in Delaware, and I mean that no disrespect. It's just when you look at the geography of the MEAC, especially in its heyday, it was more so, North Carolina, Southern Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina State being kind of like that middle passage area because you had Savannah State underneath them. Then you had the two Florida schools, right? So it's like when you get into the South, to deeper South, that's where the crux was.
He said, "Is Brooks Parker?"
I'm not sure. Just see if you can confer with Gerald Huggins. He knows what I'm talking about.
What's good, G?
What's good, G? Hey. But yeah, it's just they it's tough for them. Then they get overshadowed because them being one of the two big state schools in Delaware, they get overshadowed by University of Delaware, as well as in the Philly schools, Villanova and Temple. They just kind of get overlooked, unfortunately, and that doesn't mean they're not a proud fan base with a proud history, because Lord knows they got a strong history as a football team.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Can I throw out another breakout player from the MEAC, from a school that nobody talks about?
Let's go with it. Who we got?
Jordan Lennon, Norfolk State, true freshman. As a running back, Jordan Lennon been like that, man. Jordan only 85 carries, but 425 yards, 3 touchdowns. Man's average 5 yards a carry. A true downhill runner, really good vision. Really reminds me of Mike Davis back when he was with the Gamecocks, if anybody knows. Yeah. I like Jordan Lennon a lot, man. That's a bowling ball when he's going downhill. Watch out for Jordan Lennon next season, man.
I'm gonna let Norfolk State people hear, and I don't care. I hate when we talk about Norfolk State because for whatever reason they just have our number. Like it does. Like I swear to God, we could be up 20, and before you know it, we lose by 1. We're 1-19 in the last 20 years against them.
M. Rob been on it. He said earlier, I was at the Morgan Norfolk State game. Morgan had no damn business losing that game. And then he chimed in when you start, he chimed in earlier. But I want to come back to it. He said the sleeping giant of the MEAC and HBCU is Norfolk State. I hate to say it. So
well, I think for Norfolk though, there's such an influx of getting a mass transition of players. You don't know right now. Like that's not to say they may not have the talent. I'm sure it's Norfolk State. They're going to have the talent, but we don't know. How they're going to be cohesively.
He said here, Mario Goings.
Yep. There you go. Goings be going, boy. Yeah. That boy be going on it.
Hey, yeah, I'm sorry. D. Walt chimed in and said, didn't Keith Jenkins move to the offensive side of the ball for Morgan? He's another speedster. That backfield is looking scary.
Actually, I don't even think. I don't want to. I speak to him as well. Man, listen. Let me tell you, these guys at Morgan, today, man, because when I played, he was a bit more grittier. but they some real humble, cool, classy, stand-up dudes. Keith Jenkins being top of the list. Actually, I think he's playing. I don't know. I think he might be playing receiver. And he still said he was going to be back there, trying to become an All-American in the return game. So yeah, I mean, the kid's humble, and he said, just wait on it. That's what he told me. Just wait on it. I was like, all right, and that's one of the few playmakers I'm going to tell y'all because I don't want, I know Josh is out there somewhere writing notes down.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Oh man. Let me ask this, Cobi. South Carolina State, man. We talked about that history of all those great defenders that Coach Buddy Pugh has put in the league, and now we're starting to see some offensive guys. Speaking of that, Shaq Davis with the Saints, I'm hearing some really good things.
Yeah,
Shaq. Yes, really good things about Shaq Davis.
Boy, proud.
Right. I'm looking forward to seeing him, and I know we're not talking about UAPB, but Mark Evans as well. Them guys, both of those guys, I expect to see them on the 53. So, yeah. But South Carolina State, is there? We kind of. I'm trying to think. We didn't talk about guys to watch on from them. No, we talked about Delaware State, Morgan State. Guys to watch for South Carolina State who, because if I'm not mistaken, the last 2 years y'all had one drafted, one UDFA. But who is somebody to watch for South Carolina State make a name for themselves?
All right, so the obvious guy on the defensive line, Jablonski Green. All right, this is his defensive line now. He ain't sharing it with nobody. It's him. It's like this is his year. I wanted him to be Defensive Player of the Year for the MEAC last year. It didn't happen. But this is his year. He knows that, man. He's put a lot more weight on now, so you may see him on the inside too. He's going to be placed all around that defensive line now, just because of the, he's put a lot more muscle on. So that's
coaches. Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that? Morgan State coaches, y'all heard that? He's going to be on the inside, 3 technique, 5 technique, whatever you need to be.
But that's what you can expect, because that's the obvious guy. The new transfer, I know I saw somebody put in the comments. I was waiting to talk about it. Aiden Weber, man. Oh my goodness. Did he come at the right time? Aiden Weber came at the right time because we lost BJ Davis. We lost him to Eastern Carolina. And that was just such a huge. Me personally, I think BJ Davis got snubbed for MEAC Defensive Player of the Year. I have no problem with old boy in North Carolina Central. I'm just saying, would a man catch 2 back-to-back picks versus FAMU to bring his team back in the game? I mean, he been doing this all season. He got to be the guy. But listen, Aiden Weber, he is single-handedly bringing that physicality back, helping bringing that physicality back to that South Carolina State defense and what it's been known for. I have watched this man closely throughout the spring, and I have seen nothing but great things. Just flashing great, oh my goodness, man. The physicality, the man is always where the ball be. I don't know how he do it. He got a magnet in his jersey? I don't know, man. The boy always seemed to fly towards the ball. So Aiden Weber, let me see. The offensive side of the ball, I'm going to go with Tyler Smith. A lot of people don't know about Tyler Smith, but I have been trying to get his name out there since he signed with South Carolina State. He was a part of that class after we won the Celebration Bowl. Tyler Smith comes from Gaffney High School. For those of you who don't know what Gaffney High School is, it is one of the top football programs in the state of South Carolina. It's a story program. Tyler Smith was supposed to be a Gamecock. The whole Gamecock nation wanted Tyler Smith. They wouldn't recruit him because they thought he was too small. Great for us, we got him. Okay, that kid he's a redshirt freshman. Y'all will see him on the field. He's most likely going to be running back 1. When that boy steps on the field, you want to talk about electric. I watched this man in the spring game. It's 3rd down. All right, offense got to stay on the field. They got to pick up a couple yards. Everybody knows it's going to Tyler. Corey hands the ball to Tyler. Immediately, the defensive end is right there to hit Tyler Smith in his tracks. I watched this man spin off of the tackle, something out of a movie, like just slow motion, just spin off of him, running, pick up the first down. He got the agility, he got the speed, he got the playmaking ability. Man, Tyler Smith, Aiden Weber, those are 2 names y'all need to watch. It's more. I can really go all day. But if you just want me to give you one for offense or one for defense, Tyler Smith, Aiden Weber, man, those two are it.
Oh no, we got
Cobi said
time.
Tyler Smith like Booby Miles out there, huh?
Man, the spin was Booby Miles-esque. I will say that. I will definitely say that. But and then you look at another guy we got, and it's so many guys from that class after the Celebration Bowl. Jordan Watkins, he's a guy who's going to be on the field because he's been taking the majority of the first team reps. Like a 6'2" safety from Grimshaw or Grimsley High School in North Carolina, another state championship. Great program in North Carolina, man. That kid, 6'2". When I say the cover skills is off the charts, I feel like he's not playing corner because he's such a hybrid. But yeah, man, the cover skills is there. He can also come down and stop you in your tracks. He's a short tackler. Watch out for that kid at safety. He's still young, so he's going to be learning a lot from Marcolm McGee, the transfer from Alcorn in Colorado State, which I absolutely love that for him. So when Marcolm McGee leaves after this year, it's going to be just him. But man, I'm telling you, bro. And of course, you're gonna say Marcolm McGee. But man, Aiden Weber, Marcolm McGee, Jordan Watkins, Jablonski Green. That defense, I could just go all day. But offensively, it's really Tyler Smith. And when you go to the receivers, everybody wants to know who we're gonna replace Shaq Davis with. The answer is you just can't replace him. But we got a lot of young guys. So you think about Jordan Smith, who was the second leader in receiving stats behind Shaq. Nobody talked about him, but he was second. Now he's up. Redshirt, I think he's going into his sophomore year. We got him. We got a truly gifted route runner in Justin Smith-Brown. And then, of course, we got Rakeem White, who we expect to step up in Shaq Davis' spot because, he's 6'4", faster than Shaq, just as long as Shaq, more athletic than Shaq, to be honest with you. So, like I said, I can name a lot of guys, but it's a lot of young talent that we just need to step up. But those are the names that you can look forward to next season.
I like it. I've been waiting on this question. Banks, I got this question. I've been waiting on this one. What's a game on your schedule? I got actually this is two of them. This ain't the question you think. What's the game on your schedule that's gonna tell the tale for the season?
All right, so that you talking about early.
Just in a game that like when y'all play, you can be like, okay, all right, I think we can be all right. You know what I'm saying? Or you look at this game, be like, we might got a little work to do.
So my number one game, first of all, to tell where this team could be throughout the season, or how they can operate going into the majority of the season, got to start with Towson.
Okay.
Crosstown rival or regional, metro region rival. Even though they got a new coach over there, it's still, we've lost to them in the last 6 times, I think we played them. Haven't beat them since 2009. And, it's in our house. We have expectations this year. We're projected to win that game. We should have won the game last year. Literally, we were winning the entire game until the final 6 minutes of that game, and lost by 8. So that leaves a bitter taste in our mouths. It's a CAA opponent because they got what did Ralph say?
He said Morgan playing half of the CAA.
I don't know. We just playing who we need to. We playing who scheduled us, and that's that. All right. Don't be putting out no innuendos out there, Rob. All right. But nah, seriously though, like we know we can compete this year. We got expectations, and that game is a telling one because it's a lot of emotion and a lot of intensity involved with it. So you could get past that game. You then got following after that Stony Brook, Albany before that, and Yale as well. And then you go right to the season, or I guess the MEAC season, to start against North Carolina Central, right? So, we want to see if we could string up some wins before we have to play the national champs.
All right. Now I'm gonna ask the other question. What game you got circled?
Me?
I'm gonna come back to you, Cobi, because you got two teams.
No,
So.
let Cobi go because I
All right.
let Cobi go. Go ahead.
Cobi, what games you got circled as far as South Carolina State or Delaware State?
Jackson State off the top. You know, as much as I love my Jackson State people, they know I'm a Bulldog fan. They want they get back, and I don't want to give it to them. You know, I do not want to give it to them. So like, I'm watching. I'm trying to see like how the team's doing and everything like that, and like how we looking. I don't want to get them boys that get back. I need to see how we looking coming out versus Jackson State and Atlanta. And I will be there in person for that game. But aside from that, I would say North Carolina Central, but like we've been squeaking past them for the past few years. I'm not really worried. I'm gonna say Morgan. Like I'm really, because man, that defense, bro. That like we talked about it earlier. That defense, I just don't know what y'all gonna throw. I know that secondary looks great. Offensively, y'all don't have Alfonso Graham. Maybe y'all got a replacement. I don't know. All right, but as far as defensively, man, I'm worried that when we see y'all, how are we gonna handle that?
I don't like the notion of a Buddy Pugh led team circling us in the weight room all week. Practice hard as hell in Orangeburg.
No,
man, it's already
listen.
hot. It's already awkward. It's South Carolina at that. We got to travel there. I don't like the notion of that. I'm not saying I'm scared. I'm just saying I don't like the notion of it. That's all I'm saying.
All I'm saying is when I got this, because I was at the Jackson State Southern game when I got the score on Morgan State and South Carolina State, and I was so embarrassed. We were all so mad and embarrassed. Listen, don't take this personal, man. But we can't.
And Rob says you don't even believe that.
Hey! Listen.
Bro.
When I watched that game, right? So I'm in my apartment. My lady, she's in the other room, and when we just go up 10, I'm like, hell yeah! I'm just happy at being up 10. All right, like that's all I like. Listen, that's all I needed. All right, for real. And then before you know it, like the league kind of expanded, and I just got quiet because I didn't expect it. But then I got nervous immediately for next year. Like I was like, wait, hold on now. I mean, you got to play them down there. Oh, we didn't mean nothing by this. We just playing football now.
Listen, after the way Alfonso Graham made that whole defense look on that one particular run. That is why I'm glad we got Malcolm McGee and we got Aiden Weber. That can never happen again. I want to go back to the days
that play
when
was
we had
insane.
Morgan State on the TikToks. Like you remember that TikTok of our offensive line just blowing
but that was all right. So that one, you listen. Let me tell you something. When I first saw that TikTok 2 years ago, she said smoking. And I'm not a smoker, but I damn sure was metaphorically doing that that day. Listen, when I saw that TikTok from 2 years ago when y'all won the national championship of South Carolina State literally putting our boys into the ground like that, I said, oh no. Everybody was calling each other. You see this? Like that was terrible. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad we overcame that. And keep in mind, what's crazy about this playing history between South Carolina State and Morgan, it's so lopsided.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it's our second win in 10 years, and we're like 3-39 against them.
I didn't know.
Right? Like the first time we beat South Carolina State was 79. Then there was a 35-year gap. The last time we won after the next time we won after that was in 2014 when I was on the team, and then last year. So like out of 42 years, we only won 3 games, right? So like. We got the utmost respect for the folks down in Orangeburg, and that's real humbling and an honor to even think that South Carolina State fans, are saying, "Listen, hey, Morgan's done some things, and we gotta test our salt against them." So that's definitely
everybody acknowledged like, hey, Morgan is on the come up. Like it's no more of that just running through him anymore. So like we acknowledge that now. We know we got to come a lot better versus y'all, especially what we did last season.
We got a question for you, Banks. I think you talked about it. I know I've heard you talk about it before. But D. Walt says, who you think starting that QB?
Man, it's like a 3 or 4 ring pony right now, dog. Like honestly, it depends on the eligibility of Carson Baker. I don't quite know. I asked people near the team, on the team, and I just haven't gotten a clear answer, so I can't really say like he's definitive playing. But if he is, I would assume that he just takes the helm, just because if you saw how we were early in the season before he got injured, you were so much steady of an offense. That's not to say that Deuce is a worse player than Carson by any means. He's actually probably a more talented player than Carson, just simply by arm strength. I mean, there's plays when we played Del State. There's plays that he made in regards to throwing the ball that was just like, only Uncle Rico can make a throw, further past some mountains. You know what I mean? So like, it's. And then, like I said, we also got this incoming freshman, Todd Smith. I preferably would want him to redshirt, just so I know he has it for years to come, in regards to taking the helm. But it really depends on who's eligible and then who just comes out of training camp, the victor. I think whoever does that, Coach Wilson is going to give them, the game ball come Richmond.
I saw that Todd Smith guy. I like him.
Yeah,
I like him. I like
Todd
Smith.
Yeah, he has amazing. And then on top of that, we just recently, it's a verbal commit because he's not, a senior yet. But Raymond Moore from right down the street, Mergenthaler in the city in Baltimore region, we call him Mervo High School. Former state champ. They made another deep run this past year. Great program. And he's decided to just want to come right up the street. So, we have him also waiting in the ranks as well for the incoming future. So, I just hope training camp, grinds the swords, and makes guys better. And whoever is that guy, has proven and shown without a shadow of a doubt amongst their peers and the coaches that whoever's in front of us is going to be a problem. I think they're all capable guys.
This one came in.
What's up?
Cobi. Blue Blood said, "Is Buddy Pugh on the hot seat? It may be time for Chinnisberry to step into that role." I'm gonna step away and let you answer.
Blue hasn't been an Orangeburg yet, too. It's great. So I don't think Blue, you tripping saying answer that question, boy.
Hey, Blue trying to get me in trouble out here.
That's what I was saying. Blue, you tripping.
Hey, if I'm being honest with you, there's too many people in the organization that respect Coach Pugh too much. Especially when, he just won a championship 2 years ago. So I wouldn't say hot seat, but I would be lying if I didn't tell you that there were people, and obviously I can't say who, but there are people who feel like, all right, now, maybe it's time for him to there's people who feel that way. There's people who feel like, he's getting a little too old school. A lot of people didn't. Yeah, a lot of people don't like the move they got like little chat forums and everything. They don't like the move of them starting Corey Fields over Andre Washington, that kid who everybody's excited about. So there are people who want this move to happen, but the majority of the South Carolina State fan base and the infrastructure, Coach Pugh's a legend to us. Like, they respect Coach Pugh too much, unless he just turns the program like upside down. I don't
see man just won y'all on Natty 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I get it. It was a down year last year, but that's a negative and a positive. Lord knows, I hope my program, the expectations is so high like that to where I'll be there one day. That'd be my good getting up morning, to see that. But damn, that's crazy.
And
And
Blue
that's
Jay
the thing.
3000 say, we don't play about losing. It's warm.
Yeah, they don't. And like this, I haven't heard this
That's
talk.
nasty work, boy.
I haven't heard this talk about Pugh being let go of until we had that season last year. Every game, every practice I was at, people were coming up to me. Pugh got to go. Pugh got to go. What are you doing? What? And you know, like it's fan emotion, so I don't really entertain it too much. But I mean, he just won us a championship 2 years ago, man.
Yeah. Wait. He's won y'all a national title 2 years ago. Lord knows in the last 10 years, y'all shared the title or had it outright 3 or 4 times. Like
8 conference titles.
Thank you.
Putting all these kids in the league, and a lot
In
of people
the
don't
league,
understand.
oh my, come on, man.
We have one of the lowest recruiting budgets in the NCAA. Like I don't think people understand that. We have to recruit in state. We barely can go out of state to recruit kids, and Coach Pugh has been able to develop these kids.
Damn good job.
Took the Cobi Durant from FedEx and made this man a 4th round pick. You know, like so. Yeah, like he's gonna get respect off of that. However, if another 3-win season does happen, don't be. All I'm saying is,
y'all still keep him. Put some respect on that man's name.
Don't be shocked to hear the talks from people. I'm not saying I feel that way. I'm just saying don't be shocked. And if Channis Berry, I wouldn't be mad at it, you know, because Channis has done a lot with Benedict. But man, Coach P was a legend of us, so it's gonna take a lot for them to get him up out of there. Plus, a lot of people are speculating that Coach P may be close to retiring anyway. We don't, you know, like it's too much speculation on.
If he's close to retiring, let him live out his contract. But y'all gonna put some respect on that man's name.
Hey, I do want to say, and I know it's not the same, but I don't want it to become a Florida State situation where they push Bobby Bowden out. And then they were, and Florida State was doing,
for years.
It was doing that number
until Jimbo came.
Yeah. No, Jimbo. That's who they pushed him out for. Jimbo.
Yeah.
But then they got Jameis, and then they had those. But Blue wants. I want to clarify. He's saying he's not saying they'll fire him, but if he goes 3-8 again, they may take him off the field. You know, what I'm saying give him.
I get what Blue's saying, and honestly, bro. Blue could really create a hot topic with that, like that Channis Berry Coach P.
Oh, don't worry. I'm about to clip it.
Blue gotta make that trip to Orangeburg now. Blue, you gotta make that trip to Orangeburg now. You gotta go to the Magnolias near that stadium, and you gotta make that trip to Orangeburg now, boy. You speak crazy now.
B-Bod said the writing is on the wall. He's only been given 1-year contracts year after year for a few years.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of people are speculating he don't have much longer anyway. You know, even though he said after the Celebration Bowl, people keep asking when I'm gonna retire, and you know, blah blah blah. But I mean, a lot of people feel like he really ain't got too much longer anyway. That he's gonna leave on his own.
And that's Flick says, is there anybody on staff that can replace Coach Pugh? First of all, I don't know if there's anybody who's gonna replace him. Period. But I get what he's saying.
Yeah,
I get what he's saying. Yeah.
So. There was his right-hand man who I think just took a job at a Division II school just to be closer to his family. So it would have been him. I would have said him, but he just took the job to be closer to his family at a Division II HBCU. So
is that the assistant head coach?
Huh?
Is that the assistant head coach?
I believe it was. I think he was on the defensive side of the ball. Though I'm not. His name eludes me, but he is the guy who I would have said. Now I don't know. When I look at that roster, I would say no. I think they got to go out, and I would try to get Channis Berry. If I'm being honest with you, I try to get him.
If Lord knows, I'm not speaking that into existence. But if there was a transition, that would be an excellent pickup.
Excellent. Yeah. You see what he did with Benedict, man.
Listen.
Yeah. M. Rob said Buddy's problem is offense. If his offense was half as good as their defense, shit wouldn't be fair. And then he also come back and kind of how I feel. You don't replace coaches like Buddy out the gate. That's a long term. Yeah, it's a long term deal where you have to find somebody who's going to stick it out.
One of those quarterbacks could save his job for a little bit longer though. Depending on how they play.
Maybe South Carolina State can finally give Sewell his head coach an
What
opportunity
the hell, Blue?
if they don't get Sewell.
What the hell? Blue. Blue, you have to see me when you come up to Baltimore now.
Oh. Hey, that man there. Boy, my man Zach, I tell you, boy.
Man,
I love it.
Zach, boy, he on one today, boy. Yo. But Pooh, I think you asked me earlier about what game I had lined up.
Yeah, let's go with it. Tell me what you got.
There's only one. It's their last game of the season. November 18th in Trash Green Stadium in Washington, D.C. off of Georgia Avenue. That's who it's against. Everybody knows that's who I done circled on the schedule, who I expect. If regardless if we win the MEAC or not, we win that game, I'm gonna be doing the Michael Jackson, moonwalk on a 50. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna be taking pictures on the field like their coaches did. Oh, I'm gonna be nasty with it.
Hey, I just want you to know, Erica said they're gonna beat y'all, they're gonna play y'all early, beat y'all because they ain't got no lights, and let the be done for the day.
Who?
Howard. They don't have no lights in this. They're gonna beat them early.
Howard
and then be done for the day.
A $1 billion school, no lights in their stadium. Exactly my point. Yeah, I said it, and Eric can't hear either. You know what I'm saying? You can't fit for a school now.
Oh man,
I got the time now. You know what I'm saying? I got the mark.
Oh man, hey, I do. Okay, so I want to transition. I got 2 topics that I want to talk about real quick. The first one today, Supreme Court struck down affirmative action in higher education. It's been a lot of people been talking about it, the ramifications, how to go. How do y'all think this has any effect on HBCU athletics?
Marco, you go ahead first.
Okay. So one is it's kind of tough because Morgan's situated in Maryland and in a situation where over the past couple of years from the 22 election, we finally got an advocate in the governorship down in Annapolis, right? And we also got a true blue Democratic House in both the state Senate and as well as House of Representatives. And even though, according to Maryland law, a lot of funding cannot be procured simply for athletics. There's a lot of workarounds that can happen if you kind of make it a quasi-educational complex and what have you. And now we have those kind of benefactors in Annapolis who could provide us those funds necessary to begin our second phase at the National Treasure in regards to infrastructure and investments. We just spent $1 billion over the last 10 years over on our campus, dealing from high speed Wi-Fi to new dormitories. Now the second phase is coming to where we just bought our new second portion of our camp, or actually third portion of our campus, a little bit down Hill and Road, where the old day Clifton High School is, where there's going to be a new, multi-$100 million basketball convocation facility, as well as several other new schools. And on top of that, like for us, we'll be okay. However, and I know that we are the minorities. Like I said, being in Maryland, being in a pro democratic state, I am worried on two fronts for HBCUs overall. One, like I just alluded to, we recently worked on our infrastructure, and of course, that's we're just hovering below 10,000 students. Next coming years, it might get to 11, 12 before you know it, and it's still going to that makes the infrastructure that we currently are building still may not be enough. Still might be superseded by the population of applicants and attendees, and I feel like that's a microcosm for the HBCU landscape at large. There's I remember somebody telling me there's only roughly 250,000 current students at all 100 plus HBCUs. In regards to African Americans overall, there's about 3 million of us. So if you just do the math, it's just not feasible to accommodate everybody, and it does make me wonder within our mission at Morgan, where we take a lot of first generation students and try to give them the tools, resources, and other foundational elements to bridge that gateway to the middle class and beyond that. What happens to those marginalized students, right? If we're only now going to try to vouch for our top. And that's not to say that we shouldn't vouch for our top, but it does makes me wonder what's going to happen with that. And then on top of that, in the Ruby Red states that a lot of our schools are in, you're saying now that you can't view schools based on race. Well, HBCU's founded was created because of race, period, that we were discriminated against because we couldn't go into the at that time the recently land granted institutions, and how where our mission is to promote black growth educationally, as well as that's not to say we're not open to all facets of race, but if our main mission is that, does that give the license for those state legislatures to say, hey, well, because we can't view race or talk about race, therefore we shouldn't have to fund HBCUs because they are race based, right? And that gets me scared because that pretty much runs in the face of the 1965 Higher Education Act, Brown v. Board of Education, and other related laws.
Yeah. I do want to say, because I didn't really think about it till you said something. I think this removing affirmative action is going to hurt some of our non-melanated brothers and sisters who attend HBCUs a lot more than it affects our melanated brothers and sisters who attend PWIs, simply because a lot of those non-melanated brothers and sisters get scholarships, minority scholarships, to go to HBCUs. So
correct.
Tables have turned. But
that's actually a good point.
And at one point, Morgan State, especially in the 70s, was roughly 30% white.
You want to hear something else? Bluefield, if I'm not mistaken, Bluefield State,
who was a former rival of ours too.
I know. I think West Virginia State is like
West Virginia State, Bluefield State. They're like 80% white.
White, yeah.
So
that's gonna be interesting. But Cobi, go ahead, man.
I mean, athletically, not at all. I mean, just speaking for South Carolina State, I mean, we never really have much to work with anyway, as far as athletically goes. But like those guys said in the comment section, man, enrollment.
Yeah.
It's always a great thing when you get more students in. So I mean,
enrollment should increase. Yeah,
if it's going to increase like that for us, especially
enrollment will flood
up and up with the things we're doing around campus. We're finally starting to build on, and I know the athletic director, Miss Campbell, love Miss Campbell. She's been driving by the facilities, and she's been taking videos of the new things we have coming on campus. So this can only be great for us. I want to see more kids at South Carolina State. I think we could really benefit from that because it's such a great school. Even if You know, a lot of people feel how they do about Orangeburg. South Carolina State is a great school, so man, it can only do great things for us enrollment wise. So I'm not mad at it.
Yeah. I personally, when I heard it and people were talking about it, I was thinking, oh, this would be a great opportunity. I knew athletically, they're going to want to keep our kids going to their, institutions for athletics and stuff like that. Ironically, where this case kind of took place, California, they don't even do affirmative action, which is weird. And not weird that they don't do it. It's weird that that's where the case comes from, and they don't even. But neither here nor there. At the HBCUs were already on the rise. We had 2 cases. North Carolina A&T was being, I think, fined for having more enrolled out-of-state students.
Oh, when I saw that clip, I got so mad, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They passed the 40% threshold of selecting out-of-state students in their the incoming class, something like that.
Yeah. Also, Tennessee State was the other one. Tennessee State was, they weren't fine, but it, made it to state legislators. Why so many, black students now going to Tennessee State versus University of Tennessee? And it was, simply because there's a revolution going on. But that ties to our next story. Tennessee State got a hockey team, y'all. 2024. The brothers is taking the ice. It's finna be on and popping. Nashville, get ready. Y'all gonna see me there. I'll be in there. I'm gonna go get me a jersey.
Man, boy.
I'm gonna give me a jersey, put Kente cloth on it, and go. No,
man, let me tell you, I'm gonna look like Jamie St. Patrick in the middle of winter, Manhattan. You know what I'm saying? Down front row. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be looking fresh to death. You feel me?
Man, listen, I ain't saw nothing hockey related since the Mighty Ducks cartoon.
The Mighty Ducks.
You hear me? I'm gonna be out there, man. Do you know how lit we can make an environment for the hockey game? I'm trying to hear all the cookout music during that. Man, it's finna be lit. It's finna be lit.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm like the way I just imagine it going. I can already tell it's gonna be lit on that ice because we gonna support it.
The only thing I'm saying to the refs right now, if y'all let everybody else fight, let the boys fight.
They ain't gonna do that. They gonna try.
Let everybody else fight. Let the boys fight.
Now, the only thing I worry about is the inevitable racism that's going to come to those players, to those black players on that team.
Zach said he already got his money set aside for Tennessee. Yes, definitely.
But that's the only thing I worry about. Black people in hockey, obviously, it's going to be a lot of.
Oh, let's go. Yeah, absolutely.
About that.
Absolutely.
That's the only thing I worry about. But if they can maneuver through that, I'm ready.
But they know. But as long as them boys know they got all 100+ HBCUs surrounding them, supporting them, they're gonna come in Minnesota's trap. They're gonna take over their trap. They're gonna go to New Hampshire. They're gonna go to Quinnipiac. They're gonna go to Boston. They're gonna go to Northeastern. They're gonna go to Michigan, Ohio. It don't matter. They coming, boy.
And the most beautiful thing about this is, man, all HBCU people from different schools, SWAC and MEAC, we coming together to support this. Like, I love to see that.
That's it.
Yeah. Let me ask y'all another question on this, because I saw this pop up, and I vehemently disagree with it, but I'm gonna ask y'all. Someone said, hey, instead of doing hockey, why didn't they just bring back the baseball team? Bringing hockey is not necessary. It's not even sport that we are all getting to. This blah blah blah. But do you think that they should have possibly brought back baseball before hockey, before trying to pursue a hockey?
No, you can't. Right.
I agree. I'm just saying. I saw it pop up.
But also, you have to take into account, like at Morgan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our next big thing, we all know it's the writings on the wall, is lacrosse, right? Mm-hmm. Because within the region of where we're at, that's the hotbed, right?
Yeah.
We literally got 3 of the top 30 schools within 5 miles from our campus.
Yeah, and
If you don't think
Morgan was a legit lacrosse
we
team.
was legit with our own right in the 7th. Listen, the greatest lacrosse player ever, Kyle Harrison, his daddy was a bear. I'm pretty sure if Morgan's lacrosse team was still around during 2004, he wouldn't have been a Blue Jay. He would have been a Bear. Right. All he had to do was go 5 miles eastbound. That's it. Right.
Ooh.
So my thing is know your region. In that region of Nashville, they got NHL hockey team.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's who they're partnering with, and
correct.
they'll be using their
they'll be using their facility, right?
They'll be using their facilities because they used the Tennessee Titan the stadium
for
football.
But also within Nashville, because of that team, they're familiar with black hockey because of PK Subban, right?
Bingo.
So it's a familiarity and an understanding that hockey's big within the region. And guess what? Who's a big time school in that city? Tennessee State. So it's a perfect marriage.
Mm-hmm. I want to see. When I say, "Ooh," I thought M. Robs says, "Hear me out. HBCUs should go in on college boxing, collegiate boxing."
Oh my God,
that's a thing.
I didn't know it was a thing, but
I did not know that was a thing. I'm gonna be honest with you.
The only so I hear what M. Rob's saying, right? However, the only reason why I don't know if that is a solid idea is because if you're then going into the Title IX area of trying to have equal amount of scholarships.
I'll tell you how you fix that. You want to tell you how you fix that? I'm advocating for heavily. Make it the third school to get HBCU gymnastics. I'm advocating for it heavily.
No, I listen.
Shout out to Brown Girls Do Gymnastics.
Absolutely. But that's where I was going to go with, right? So you're going to have to get more than individualized sports.
Mm-hmm.
And then do you have the adequate facilities for that? Because they do require, I think gymnastics requires somewhat of a lot of equipment
for practices. Oh, Emrod said women's boxing.
No, you could do women's boxing the match. Yeah,
if there's collegiate boxing, I've never heard. I would like to see it though. So,
no, correct. I'm not saying that it isn't. I watch it. It is. I'm not saying that it isn't. All I'm saying is for the amount that you're investing in, and if you're trying to get like say a then bigger team sport to coincide, it's tough. The mathematics kind of get tough if you don't have it all there.
All I'm gonna say is this: college boxing in this day and age of social media.
It'd be something else.
You want to be that guy because it's gonna do numbers.
Yes,
it's gonna do numbers.
Exactly.
A lot of ish talking right there, boy.
That's what Emrod said. It's gonna do homecoming numbers. Yeah,
if you want to be that guy to get knocked out in front of the baddies, I mean, hey, if you want to go viral for that.
Well, it may end up being some like Olympic style rules where saying have the headgear and
definitely
only like 3 rounds, 3, 4. So I get it. That I mean, Rob, you might be on to something, man. You might be on to something. But fellas, man, let's listen. We can go forever. You know what I'm saying? I have thoroughly enjoyed talking with y'all. We got to do this again. Before we go, man, Banks, I'm gonna let you get, first cracks at it. Tell the people where they can find you. You know what I'm saying? All your information.
You can find me on Twitter, Big Money Banks _ call me Banks, call me Marcolm, call me whatever. I'm here. I don't duck no smoke. By the way, for fans who watch or not watch, but tune in and listen to HBCU Nightly. We'll be back on July 7th. I think 9 p.m. I think we're starting at 9 p.m. because it's the fall now. Check with Josh. Don't check with me. But we're excited to roll that back out, and just catch me there.
Yeah. Bank said, call him whatever, as long as you call him when the money arrives. There you go.
Hey, come on
All
now.
right. Cobi, man, appreciate you coming through. First time guest, man. Tell the people where they can find you, man.
Hey, man, y'all can find me on IG, Twitter, any social media site at Cobi Orr. It's real simple, COBIORR. And of course on Twitter at the BlitzCity Podcast. That's my channel that I do. And that's about it. It's pretty simple.
All right. Man, fellas, like I said, I truly appreciate y'all coming through. Hey, everybody in the chat, man, appreciate y'all coming. If it's your first time coming, please come back again. We'll be back. I don't know who we're going to have on next. I know we're trying to get Norfolk State, so we can talk about Norfolk State. Then we get ready, we're going to talk A&T, Hampton. Then we're going to move on to the SWAC. And I think
we're going to get Dave on that, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to get Dave, man.
He going to lie and fudge their predictions saying they're going to go 8-3 first year in the CAA.
What? If you notice, I didn't ask y'all for predictions because, you know what I'm saying, I don't want to put that on, you know what I'm saying, predictions. But I do, I look forward to seeing all these teams play because first of all, football season can't get here fast enough.
Oh,
but
my God.
I got high hopes. You know what I'm saying? I think it's gonna be a slobber knocker, but it's gonna be a good one, man. But hey, for us, man, here at HBCU Hour, appreciate y'all for coming. Like that, we out. This show was presented by betonline.ag.
Bring me my money.